February sucks. It's cold. Teachers assign the most work out of any month. A lot of suspensions/withdrawals have occurred, and it's the end of a long and grueling winter. These reasons are all completely valid and are somewhat justifiable excuses for problems that occur. In early February, I found myself using these excuses to explain my feelings at the time. I was at home with the flu, upset with missing 2 basketball games after I'd already missed 2 with a leg injury, struggling a little bit academically, and just mad at everything for no reason. I was mad at the fact I had to miss 4 games, I was mad at the way my season was going, and I was mad at my academic performance. The easiest thing to do was to not take accountability and blame my mood and my progress on things that are out of my control. So that's exactly what I did. I turned to the normal excuses of the winter's always tough, the weather sucks, and the weather sucks. When things weren't going my way, my first instinct was to look inward and make excuses from a selfish point of view. When I woke up the next morning, the first thing I saw was news that Kobe Bryant had died. I'm not here to rave about Kobe and my adoration of him, but whether you admire him or despise him, you can appreciate the sensitivity of the situation. Here's one of the most famous people in the world, an icon who to many was perceived as invincible, dead at 42 years old, along with 7 other people. You don't have to be a fan of Kobe's to take a lesson away from his death. My first feeling when I found out the news was ashamed. I felt ashamed I was in a bad mood because of a missed basketball game, along with my other reasons, which after the news of the death held very little importance to me. It made me realize that life isn't promised to anyone, even to arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. It made me appreciate how blessed and privileged I've been throughout my life, and most importantly, my family and friends who play a huge role in my life. I felt ashamed that I wasn't as appreciative of these things before, and that one of my idols had to die before I appreciated my life and the blessings surrounding it more. I understand that not all of you can relate to Kobe, but there's a person on campus who is one of my biggest inspirations and someone I think everyone here can relate to. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Allen was the former athletic director here at Millbrook and tragically lost his life in a car accident in 2015. Mr. Allen's 2 daughters who were in the car survived. Ms. Allen shared her story of overcoming this tragedy with compassion last year in my all-time favorite Tuesday talk. For new students who didn't hear this talk, I'm not exaggerating when I say 50% of the room was in tears after the talk. For some faculty members and seniors of last year's class, they were crying because they had personal relationships with Mr. Allen and the talk brought up memories. However, most people in that room, including me, had never met him. Although I didn't cry, I came very close. I felt the same sense of ashamed that I felt right after Kobe's death. I think everyone felt some sort of ashamed, which caused the display of emotions. There was an unspoken vibe on campus the rest of the day where no one was complaining about anything. After hearing that talk, I couldn't justify complaining about any of my problems, and I'm sure a lot of my peers felt the same way. When Ms. Allen, after going through a tragedy no one should have to endure, is still one of the most compassionate and positive individuals I know, there is no excuse for me to not show up at every one of my commitments and give everything I had to each and every one. From my perspective, that was a shared feeling around campus that day. The disappointing part to me was the next day, it seemed like the talk never happened. People reverted back to what was most comfortable for them, which is deflecting accountability and placing blame on others for their problems. I saw a community that just the day before had changed its perspective for the better in a major way, immediately revert back to our bad habits just one day after. I'm not saying I expected after Miss Allen's talk or expect after this talk for there never to be a complaint on the campus of Millbrook again. If you don't complain, you're not human. Everyone complains, and I can't expect something out of someone that I can't fulfill myself, considering I complain pretty much every day. I just believe that a lot of our complaints come from a place of entitlement. When we don't get what we feel we are owed or deserving of, we complain. The less we feel that we are owed something, the less we complain. If we can take a second as a community, before we place blame on others and deflect accountability, to realize that everyone here has an agenda and that it's not all about you, and more importantly, to realize that nothing is promised or owed to you, I think we can really grow. A lot of people think I wake up every morning screaming that I love Millbrook, that I go to 8 a.m. long block in the morning, loving every second of it, that I think everything is perfect here, and that I expect everyone else to have that same mindset. I don't do that, and I think Millbrook has a lot of things to improve upon, and it is nowhere near a perfect place. There are a lot of days where I wake up and I definitely don't want to be on this campus, I don't want to go to class, and I'm in a terrible mood. And on those days, when I either walk past Miss Allen's house or see her smiling and laughing somewhere, I can't express how fast my mood changes. I think about the hardship that she's had to go through and how there are a lot of days where she definitely doesn't feel like going to work, being on dorm duty, etc. But she still shows up every single day with the biggest smile on her face. And if she can do that, then I can do something as little as going to class on time. I'm not asking you to love Millbrook, I'm not asking you to never complain, and I'm not asking you to change who you are. All I'm simply asking is, when life is hard, find a little dose of perspective. When you don't think you have anything left in you, just push a little past your comfort zone, wherever that is for you. When life gets hard, think about what you can do to help someone else, and how to control what you can control. I promise you, it will not only help your situation, but it'll reveal that you can push through a little more adversity than you thought you could. I know it's not easy to do that at all, but if we only did the things that are easiest to us, we would never grow in any capacity. And like I said before, Millbrook is not a perfect place, and this topic of resilience is one of the main areas I believe Millbrook can grow in. I'm going to leave you with my best advice, which is to find your inspiration. I can't tell you who that is or what that looks like, but I know finding inspiration is the best thing to ever happen to me. When I'm having one of those days, I think of Kobe Bryant, I think of Miss Allen, I think of my family who sacrifices every day for me, and I think of the many other people who inspire me every single day. If I don't push a little past my comfort zone on the days where the only thing I want to do is lie down, wrapped in my comfort zone blanket, I feel like I'm letting all the people who inspired me and who look up to me down. So, find your inspiration. Let them help you hold yourself accountable. Let them help you get a little bit better every day. Let's have a great rest of the month in the school year. Thank you.